And in the studio this morning, I am very, very pleased to welcome Rainbow Party President Wynter Kabimba. State Council Wynter Kabimba, good morning.
Good morning, Patricia. Good morning, dear listeners.
And just to remind you, we are live on our Facebook page, that's Millennium Radio 90.5 FM. And we're also live on Millennium Television. It's channel 95 across the country on Top Star. I want to begin this interview by saying it's probably my last of the year. And it's good to end the year by interviewing honorable men of this country. And today the guest is Rainbow Party President, as I've already said. And as we close this year, 2021, and we look forward to 2022 State Council, we are reminiscing and looking at perhaps what we achieved as a country and what we did not, and where we made mistakes, and did we correct them? How could we correct them? And what have we learned basically in 2021? So, firstly, I'll ask you, what events stand out for you as being the most pertinent of 2021 for the country?
Okay, thank you, Patricia. The event that really stands out in 2021 is how Zambians went to the polls on the 12th of August this year. And in the usual custom and manner, Zambians were able to elect a government of their choice. They changed the leadership of government in this country, and they did so peacefully and in a manner that has attracted a lot of admiration across Africa and across the world. So the 12th of August presidential and general elections stand out as one of our major successful events as a nation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is what I would say 2021 brings to us.
Okay. As we still look at this year, I would say that our economic fortunes as a country, in my opinion, was severely affected by a lot of factors, but also including COVID-19. And with hindsight, State Council, are there things that we could have done differently, especially around the whole COVID scenario, with the hope of ameliorating the devastating effects that we are still witnessing, and we're now in a fourth wave?
Patricia, I'll tell you, I am a COVID survivor myself. I was in the hospital for 4 weeks, for a month, and 3 of those weeks I was on oxygen. I was on the verge of life and death.
Do you have a will?
Yeah, I think I have.
Oh no!
I think I have. I was worried more about something else other than a will. So, how did I survive COVID?
Mm-hmm.
I survived COVID, Patricia, because when I was taken to that facility near the airport,
yes, Lusaka Specialist Hospital,
the Lusaka Specialized Hospital,
mm-hmm.
I found men and women at that facility,
mm-hmm.
the doctors, the nurses, the general workers, that were really committed to saving life.
Mm-hmm.
I remember them coming to me and asked a lot of questions, being a lawyer, as to what was wrong with me. Every time the doctors came, I said, but what is wrong with me? They said to me, oh, we'll tell you what is wrong with you. Firstly, your lungs are 50% infected. So you have what is known as COVID pneumonia.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, they said your blood is clotting. So you have a problem with your blood carrying oxygen around the body.
Yes.
Okay? And I said, then what do we do? Can you fix this? They said, yes. We actually have drugs. We've come to understand how the COVID virus affects the human body, and we have drugs now that we are going to administer on you to make sure that your blood doesn't continue clotting, to make sure that we treat the infection. And I asked the third question. I said, then what happened? They said, well, you have every chance to survive.
Mm-hmm.
That gave me comfort that I was actually going to survive. And this was vaccination period. And therefore, I always make this commendation to our professionals. And I don't know, I've said this many times. After I came out of COVID and after elections, I said that the problem that we have in Africa and in Zambia in particular is that a new government comes in place, it will start harassing, those that were working with the previous government, even the professionals that have nothing to do with politics. In the first place, we tell the professionals remain non-partisan. You win an election, you declare them partisan because they worked with the previous government. And I said, I hope those men and women, those doctors and nurses and cleaners and everybody at that specialized hospital will be looked at by the new government as professionals that have saved lives in this country and should continue to save lives in this country. What I hear now, Patricia, I must say this, from very impeccable sources, is that we have now run out of those drugs, such as the drugs that were administered on me to make sure that my blood doesn't clot. Those drugs have run out. We have run out of drugs that could be administered, or given to COVID patients to save their lives. And the reason is that the new government has cancelled every contract that was signed by PF, including a contract for COVID drugs that are supposed to save the people of Zambia. That is how petty African governments can be. That is how petty a UPND government in power can be. They are prepared to sacrifice the lives of Zambians in order to advance their own problems or agendas against the previous government. And I think that this is unfortunate. It is not only happening, Patricia, with the COVID drugs, it is happening with the cancer drugs. You have patients at the cancer hospital that are being kept there. The machines are broken down. The drugs are not there. And they themselves said that. I saw a clip on the TV where the cancer doctor, the doctors at the cancer hospital were saying to the Minister of Health, we don't have drugs here. The machines are broken down. And yet, you have scores and scores of cancer patients there. And I'm sure, like the COVID drugs, even those drugs for cancer to alleviate the pain that would visit a cancer patient are not coming into the country because the UPND government has decided every contract that was signed by PF is a bad contract, even if it is going to save a life.
Okay, so we continue reminiscing about 2021. We are just 2 days before we usher in the new year. And we're looking at some of the events that happened in this year and possibly did we learn anything from it or how could we have done them differently? Let's focus maybe now on the new dawn government, like you said earlier, which was ushered in 12th August in those monumental elections, and the president, Hakainde Hichilema, winning with 59% of the polled votes. It was a big thing. It was a big thing. Now, 4 months down the line, State Council, for some people, I beg your pardon, including those who did vote for the UPND, for some people, these 4 months have been truthfully bittersweet. That's what they're saying. And yet for others, no, it's not a disappointment. It steps in the right direction that will yield results eventually. 4 months down the line, people are saying nothing of what we expected is happening, and others are saying, bide your time, be patient, it's coming. Where are you?
Look, excuse me. Every government is voted into office to fulfill its campaign promises. That's one of the major things that people go to vote for. This government, this political party which was in the opposition, or this political party which is in government, which has given us, presented to us this social contract that when they win the election or when we re-elect them, this is what they are going to do to alleviate our suffering, to improve our living conditions, to make sure that the cost of living is manageable. That is what people vote for. So, similarly, the Zambian people, so-called 2.8 million, went out on the 12th of August to go and vote for the UPND government, purely on account of the UPND promises. And the UPND promises are all documented. There is nothing that would refer to HH or any one of his ministers now or the party at large which is not documented, which they didn't say by word of mouth, and voluntarily so to the Zambian voters. It turns out now that if there is a criminal offense that the UPND have committed, is to win an election and get into government by false pretenses. As you know, under criminal law, to obtain goods by false pretenses is an offense. To obtain money by false pretenses is an offense. Maybe we should add another offense to the penal code. To get into government by false pretenses must be an offense. The leader of that party and all his followers must be locked up. They must be prosecuted and locked up. Because they get into government by fluke. The UPND government said to the Zambian people that when we win this 12th of August elections, we are going to fix everything that has been destroyed by PF. And they gave us a list. You are experiencing load shedding today because PF is mismanaging ZESCO. ZESCO can be a commercial entity which can deliver cheap electricity to you. You are paying pump prices, very high pump prices of fuel today because PF has a lot of middlemen in the importation of fuel. Your children are not able to go to school, to have tertiary education. They are being thrown out at UNZA. We used to see a lot of demonstrations, at UNZA, students saying we are demonstrating because we've been told we can't write exams because we haven't paid the tuition fees. And HH goes to UNZA, addresses the students, and this is on camera, and he says to them, when I get into government, this will be a thing of the past. You are going to get a bursary, like I got my bursary myself when I came from the village. From his own mouth. He says mini meal is going to be affordable. You are paying 150 kwacha now for a bag of mini meal. I'll make sure that it comes as low as 50 kwacha so that everybody is able and can be able to afford a bag of mini meal. So he went on and on and on. And the Zambian people, the 2.8 million, said, wow, he is a messiah that we've been looking for. Edgar and his group are monsters. Let's vote for this man. Let's vote for these men and women. They get voted into office, they turn around. And Patricia, what is annoying to people like me is how now they think they can insult my intelligence and the intelligence of the Zambian people. That now they can turn around and say, sorry, but before, the pump price of fuel can go down, it has to go up. And this is coming from Mutale Narumango as vice president, a former primary school teacher, who is now trying to say to me, to lecture to me using elementary economics or civics, saying to me, I must believe her that the increase in the pump price of fuel will lead me to a lower pump price of fuel. In the meantime, she went round together with their president and everybody else and telling us the pump price of fuel will be lowered to as low as 12 kwacha per liter.
I'll hold your thought just there. My guest, the Secretary, the Rainbow Party President, join us on the other side.
Choose to be weird. Choose full of fun, adventure, and excitement. Family adventure. Choose